The hinge is going to come to you basically like this, ready to be installed in between your posts. The hinge pin may have to be flipped over depending on whether or not you're building a double gate. What you want to do is open the hinge up, and you have countersunk holes on this side. This is the side that we're going to attach to the flat side. Now the hinge pin, we want these gates to swing out as far as we can, so we're going to have the hinge pin just forward of the leading edge. So we just open the hinge up where we want it to go, and 1/8 inch drill bit, and we just drill our first pilot hole, flip it around where it's supposed to go, and in she goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way. I want you to get a good idea of how tight this is. Very unlikely you'll be able to get this back off once you put it on. Okay, so that is 5 2-inch wood screws directly into the side of this 6x6. We've got over 120 pounds or more in these posts here. I left the dirt out for the moment so you could see the concrete and the amount that we've put around this post. We set it as deep as we could, and now we're ready. Close the hinge back, and then of course we spin it back around. We would close this hinge back, and she's going to sit flush. All we need to do now is put these bottom hinges on, and we'll be ready to put our top and bottom gate rail in. Okay, let me show you how easy this is. We have a pair of Infinity Hinges on each side of this opening. They're going to be recessed in between the posts. We have the flat side attached to the flat side of the inside of the 6x6. You want to close your hinges back. Now you're ready to add your top gate rail and your bottom gate rail to go in between these flanges. Over here, the G-force hinge is installed on the face of the hinge post with a 2x4 rail. Now this is the most traditional way fences are built. The framing itself, that top gate rail and bottom gate rail, are going to go between these flanges identically to the Infinity hinge. The only difference is how they attach. Whether you attach the hinge to the face of the 2x4 rail to the face of your hinge post, the G-force hinge flanged on both sides will accommodate that application. G-force hinge can also be flipped over, and the gate could swing in. The Infinity hinge on the other side is going to do the same thing, and we've already talked about flipping it over. So I'm going to grab one of these rails, my pencil, and I'll show you how easy this is. The nice thing about these hinges is it's like having an extra man out on the job with you, because you're going to have somebody holding the other side. You want to just slide it into the flanges, just like that. Put this up on top of the post to hold it for you. I'm going to bring it down on this side, close the hinge, bring it down, and I can see right here, it's pretty close to the edge of the inside of the flanges. Very close. So all you want to do now is just put it back up on top and pull it out. I'm going to use my tailgate to cut this. Just got to slide some stuff over. So I'm going to grab my speed square. There's my mark. I'm going to cut this off, and I'll be right back, and we'll put it in between these flanges, and we'll see. I want a good tight fit. You want to do this from the back side. Now the gate is going to be swinging that way, but this is the easiest way to get the lumber inside the flanges is from the back side. Is use our 3/16 inch drill bit and drill some pilot holes in the top for the galvanized lag screws. We'll just start off with one right there. And we'll put one. You want to make sure your 2x4 is in between the flanges. Well, that works better like that. Don't overdo it. Tighten it down, but don't overdo it. Want a good snug fit. One, and then two. Two more of the lag screws. By the way, these are 1.5" hot dip galvanized steel lags. The head is 3/8. If you want to get one of these sockets, goes right in there. As you can see, the flange is drawn up, drawn down, so now we're squeezing this lumber together. For using strap hinges, we'd be putting holes through the center of this 2x4, so when you add weight to it, the 2x4 naturally wants to just crack down the center. It naturally wants to do that. The difference for the Infinity hinge is that the top flange and bottom flange are grabbing the 2x4 in the best possible way and actually squeezing the wood grain together. It's going to hold that for you for a good long time. Okay, so she's really nice and tight. We have 5 prime guard wood screws behind here securing this to the 6x6. It's not perfectly square to each other, but it's easily workable for us. Now this is the space I was referring to before. When we're done with our frame, we're going to slide a fence board behind this, and then 2 more wood screws, prime guard wood screws, are going to go through here and into this gate. What you want to do is you want to come on the back side. Now, let's say we had the bottom gate rail in, had our vertical braces, had our diagonal braces, and the gate's swinging that way. Double gates would have no jamb in the center, so naturally they open this way, and whatever they're attached to in the front prevents them from going any further when they're swinging outward. Unfortunately, there is nothing preventing this in the reverse direction. Now we use a 4x4 removable post, and we put a bolt in it and we secure it, so we know that it's not going to go anywhere. But as an added precaution and an extra benefit to good quality gate building, a stop block can be added, or should be added, to the back side of your top gate rail. What you do is you press it up against your 6x6 or your hinge post, and you're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws or so in here. And what's going to happen is you're going to put one on this side, on the top gate rail only. You can add one to the bottom if you want to, but mainly the 2 on the top. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to want to have a stop block on this side, and to be pressed up against the hinge post and screws installed in it too. So what happens when the gate comes back closed too quickly or too abruptly, the rail transfers the force, gate going this way, into the stop block, and then back into the back edge or the side edge of the 6x6. So it'll absorb a lot of force before you have to worry about your lag screws and the attachment or your hinge or anything else. A lot of that force is going to be absorbed right there. As an added bonus, if that wasn't enough to get you to put a stop block on the inside of your double gates, they're going to be permanently aligned from now on. So before we cut the gates out, we have this stop block on, we have the other stop block on the other side, so when we cut the gates out and bring them back closed, they'll be permanently in line indefinitely. Without stop blocks, finding perfect alignment between these two gates once they're cut out sometimes can be very difficult. Okay, we're back. I went ahead and added the bottom gate rail. I've got the lag screws on the top and on the bottom. I want to have about a 3/4 inch gap between these two gates, and right now I'm not level. I'm level, or I'm plumb I should say, but I'm a little over the center area. So let's just push it on back a little bit. I'm looking for 3/8 of an inch or a 1/2 inch. Doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to kick this bottom over a little bit. Okay, I'm satisfied with that being fairly plumb. So what I'm going to do is mark it across there. Now this is going to be a perfect cut. As long as you save some of that line, it's going to be perfect. What we're going to do with these tie plates, if you can see them, once we cut this out, we're going to attach one to the back side of this rail and secure this rail from the back side with a tie plate to the top gate rail and to the top of the vertical brace. We're going to do that top and bottom. And to do that, all we need to do is just cut it out. Then we can find the center and then nail this off, which I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And when I come back, we'll go. One last thing we need to do before we nail that bottom one in place is check to see if it's plumb. Right now it's slightly out. We could kick it that way, but it really says it should come that way. If there's any flex in this post at all, it's going to come that way on its own. So I'm just going to leave that bubble on that side of the line. So all I need to do now, I'm not going to mess with anything. I'm just going to put a nail right there and call it a day. You want to find the leading edge of the diagonal, right, against the vertical brace and against the top gate rail, right? So we've got it. We want to be as close to the hinge as possible so we can transfer that load. I can get about right there, and I can get right there. Oh, that's pretty darn good. So I'm going to put a pencil mark right across there. Hopefully this rail will stay put for me. I'm having to walk down it. It will. And you can too. Just take your time. So now we have 2 marks on here. Now I'll show you this is how accurately you can do this and how quickly. I'll do it live. Try not to do too much of this live. That way the video won't run any longer than it needs to. Of course, when using power tools, use all the proper equipment, safety glasses, and be very careful and take your time. What's wrong with that? As the sag or the drop comes from the top hinge, which is the guide hinge, down the rail, it's redirected now down the vertical brace. So you push here, that push is transferred here, where it resides inside the bottom flanges here, and then back into the post. Most all of it's going to go here, but some of it will travel down this rail, follow these arrows, and if not for the vertical brace, would just go this way, right? But because of the vertical brace, we're going to transfer it back up, all the way to the top, and then back down the diagonal brace again. I have to put another vertical brace in here and another diagonal brace there. And to do this vertical brace is pretty simple. I don't have to worry about plumbing this now. I'll show you real quick. I'm not going to cut it out. But we want about a 3/4 inch gap. I have about 5/8 or so at the bottom, maybe 3/4 at the top. So wherever my pencil is, I could just mark this right now and cut it out and add my brackets to it and put it in, and then cut my diagonal brace and run it that way, and we'd be good to go. But I'm going to do that off camera, and when I come back, I'll show it to you. But as you can see, we've got all of our tie brackets in. We've got both vertical braces. We've got about 3/4, 7/8 of an inch at the top, maybe a little bit less at the bottom. We have the diagonal brace in on the other side. Be adding the fence boards back to the front, and that's going to add a lot of strength to the front of the frame, and it'll tie the front side of the vertical and diagonal braces together. Also, I have slid a fence board behind the stop bracket in the front and the flanges, like we spoke about yesterday. So I slid it all the way flush against the back edge. When I'm done putting the fence boards on, I'll add a couple of the 2-inch prime guard wood screws through these 2 holes. It will go through the fence board and into the gate rail, and I'll do it on the top and on the bottom hinge. When I'm laying out my fence boards, of course, you start with one over on the far left side and right side, and of course add your string line across the top so everything will stay nice and level and plumb. You want to start with your first fence board along the vertical brace. Choose a side. In this case I'm on the left side. I'll add it here. Make sure the edge is nice and even next to the vertical brace. Run it out till you come to the hinge post on that side. Then of course you're going to add another fence board on this side and keep it along the edge again. This is the gap we're going to use to install a latch. We'll run it out across this side until we hit the hinge post on the other side. Of course, you're going to nail across the top gate rail. You're going to nail across the bottom gate rail. We're going to nail across this diagonal brace, and we're going to nail a few nails into the vertical brace, and we're going to do that on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and cover the gate frames up now. There's one on this side. Let's see if this one will work. We are officially done with the front of this gate, and now it's time to let's go put those stop blocks on that I was telling you about before and mentioned we'd come back to. I've got the nail gun already set up with ring shank nails. I took a piece of lumber that was left over when we cut it out, and it's about 17 or 18 inches long, so we're just going to slide it in there, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's our stop block. Compressor just went off in the background, so I hope you can hear me. Do it on the other side. Press it right in there so it's nice and even. I hope you can see that. 1, 2. Okay. Now we're done. Put the latch on. Remember I was telling you about the stop block. This, which really you cannot avoid putting this on. When we shut this gate, watch what happens. Bingo. That's what we want. Now if we put both gates together, they're going to be perfectly in line. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video with me, and there's still a little more work for us to do. Need to attach that side and this side, and we're going to show you how to put that latch on. We're also going to show you how to do the 4x4 removable post in the back, and that's it for right now. We did on the other set of gates. Wow. Well, there you have it. Let's open them up and see what we have. I would say that is nearly perfect. So of course these gates will swing all the way back too, as far as you want them to. Don't forget to add your stop block. That'll protect your hinges and also protect your top gate rail. If the gates swing that way too hard, stop blocks, just like on the Infinity Hinge. Boom. Alright, so I did it with my Sawzall. You could do it with a handsaw. Okay, so we got the tabs off, we got the gates open, and boom. What do you think? I replaced this fence about 2 years ago from the house out to the edge and then down that side. This year, 2 years or so later, I'm doing the other side, as you already saw. So here's a set of G-force hinge gates. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5. So that is pretty close to 4.5 feet wide. So let's open them up and see what we have. How about that? Beautiful. A lot of leaves down here. But the gate is just beautiful. And I'll give you a close-up view of the hinges. You can see those from about 2 years ago. That's what you can expect with yours going forward, as long as you don't abuse the hardware or the fence. I mean, obviously a sprinkler is not watering this all day every day, and it's in the shade too, so the more you do to take care of your wood out, preserve it and protect it, the better the gates will do over a long period of time. This gate has very minimal warping and very minimal cracking. The shade has basically the same effect as weather seal would have. So if you have a gate that's going to be in a very sunny area, especially one that's going to get wet frequently, you're going to want to weather seal it for sure if you want your gates to look this good after a couple of years. We'll take a look and see how much drop we've had. I would say the drop would be negligible, a 32nd or a 16th of an inch in that time frame. G-force hinges with the same design on this wall gate as we did on the double gate. Whether we're building with Infinity Hinges or G-force hinges, that's pretty darn good, and something that you can take a look at from what you could expect your gate to look like going forward if you build it the same way you see us doing out here. Now these gates are about 10 feet wide, two 5-foot gates with a boat. There's a boat behind here which will come out easily. Now, of course, you can build G-force hinge gates 12 foot wide if you want to, but this was only necessary for 10 foot. What I'm going to do now is fully open up the gates and show you how easy this is to do. Let this one go back up against that driveway. I'll take the wing nut off. And just separate the 4x4 post from the stationary gate. Just a nice tight fit, so just pull it free. We can swing this all the way open, all the way back. Then the 4x4 post is simple to remove. You just take it, get it out of your way. As you can see, we have quite a large opening here. So this is 10 foot. We use 4x6s on this. Nail the 2x4s to the front. G-force hinges on the gates. Of course, we have the vinyl insert or the sleeve. It's about 20 inches in the ground, set down in concrete. Now to close the gate or to put things back, pretty simple. Just put your 4x4 post back in the sleeve. Slide your stationary gate, the gates you're not going to use very often, so it lines back up in the hole. Push them together. Put your wing nut back on. And when this gate's not in use, the bolt going through the vertical brace, the fence board, and into the post obviously is supporting the weight of the gate when it's not in use. If you get a lot of wind, also stabilizes it quite a bit for you. The latch is real easy to put on. When you get a latch, if you order one from us, you get the handle, striker bar, and all the fasteners, and the latch. So the first thing you want to do is take your latch and two of your big screws. Put one in. We're going into the vertical brace. Now this doesn't actually attach to the post or the fence board. It's going directly into the vertical brace. And then of course next would be the handle. We're going to need one of these, and the striker bar. Normally you wouldn't do what I'm doing, put it on and take it off, but I'm doing this, of course, just to show you how easy it is to do. So there goes the striker bar inside of the latch. The next thing, of course, is the handle. You want to make sure when you put this on there that it's fairly level. So, oh, by the way, you can see there's a squared out area there for the handle to fit into. So basically, latch is on this side attached to the vertical brace with these two lag screws, the long ones. Another long screw, lag screw going through the striker bar, and through the handle right into the squared out area. And then all you do is just run this in. So it's in. And we need one more screw over here, and then these two smaller screws for the handle. Of course, when you get your latch, it'll be brand new without a scratch on it. Okay, so that one goes in. And we take the, this is, I believe it's a 3/8. It could be a 7/16. I'm not sure. Okay, so there you go. A pair of G-force hinge gates and a pair of Infinity hinge gates. So if you have any questions as to which hinge do you want to use, or which one you're going to need to do your gate project, if you want to have the post show through on either side or take it up a notch, you're going to want the Infinity hinge, so you can show your 6x6s or whatever post you're using on both sides of the fence like we did here. Infinity hinge has a flat side, which is designed to attach to the flat side of the inside of the 6x6, which is what you see there. Very easy to build, as you've already seen me do. G-force hinge has flanges on this side, which attach to the 2x4 on this side, which is attached to the front of the post. So if that's the way you want to build your gates, which is the most common way, by the way, then you want the G-force hinges. Both hinges do exactly the same thing as far as the gate frame goes. The frame is going to be built exactly the same for the G-force hinge or for the Infinity hinge. Either way. The only difference between the G-force hinges or the Infinity hinges is how you attach them. That's all there is. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching.